Hey guys, this is Miss Arlequin, and in this video, we're going to be learning our new set of vocabulary words. These are the cartoon vocabulary words group number 4. Alright, so before we do anything else, please take your vocabulary sheet and take a moment just to rate your prior knowledge of our 4 new vocabulary words. The first word is loquacious. Second word is verbose. Third is benevolent. And the fourth is duplicitous. All right, so let's start with loquacious. Loquacious is an adjective, which means it's a word that's going to describe nouns. You use it to describe people, places, things, or ideas. Usually you're going to use loquacious to describe a person because someone who's loquacious is somebody who talks too much. So a synonym for loquacious is talkative. He's so loquacious. He's so talkative. He keeps talking even after everyone else has left the room. That is very talkative. You could also use it in this way. The annoying punk teenager was so loquacious, he was so talkative, as he tried to defend his appearance and his interests. And you can tell from the cartoon that he's just talking nonstop. The young boy was so loquacious as he told his classmates every detail of his weekend. So if you're telling every detail, you're definitely being talkative. All right, next we have the word verbose. Verbose is an adjective, and once again, it's an adjective to describe a person because someone who is verbose uses more words than necessary. So it's similar in a way to loquacious. A talkative person is definitely using a lot of words. But verbose is about using words that you don't necessarily need to use. It's not that you're necessarily talking a lot, although you are. It's more about being like repetitive. Or if you're being verbose, it's actually, the antonym would be concise. Concise is like very short to the point. You're not using too many words to describe something. If you could describe it in just 4 words, then that would be being concise. But if you can describe that thing in 4 words and it takes you 20 to describe it, then you're being verbose. It's unnecessary. You're going overboard. I'm the most verbose person you'll ever meet or run into or encounter or come across, but I probably said that already. So here, she uses one way to say that you're going to meet her, and then she says run into, which basically means the same thing. Encounter means the same thing, and come across. So she uses 4 different ways to describe one idea of meeting her. It's unnecessary. The Facebook poster was so verbose, it took him 5 lines to say that he wasn't going to post pictures anymore. Really, he could have just said that in 1 line. I'm not going to post pictures anymore. But he just goes on and on and on. So someone who's verbose is really doing that. They keep talking. And they keep explaining the same thing. And that's a big difference between loquacious and verbose. When you're loquacious, you might be talking about a lot of different topics. If you're verbose, you're going on and on about the same thing. It's too much. Miss Arlequin told James that he was too verbose in his essay because it took him 2 pages to write just his introductory paragraph. That is overboard. That is definitely using more words than necessary. All right, our next word is benevolent. And again, benevolent is an adjective. Someone who is benevolent is someone who's kind and caring. They're willing to help, to do good, and be generous towards people. This is the most benevolent planet I've ever visited. It is the most kind and caring planet that the aliens have ever visited. The benevolent witch loved to help young children achieve their dreams. So again, this is a kind and caring witch. Somebody who's generous, who's willing to help other people. All right, and finally, our final word is duplicitous. Someone who's duplicitous is somebody who is tricky and dishonest. So pirates can be duplicitous. In this case, we see the pirate as being duplicitous because the buried treasure is obviously here, buried in the ground, but they took the sign and pointed that way. So they're trying to trick people into going the opposite direction from the treasure, although I don't know who's going to fall for that. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Where are they going to go? Dig in the sky? But they are trying to be duplicitous. You could also use this word as part of the word family, the noun version. You could talk about somebody's duplicity. So the pirates have a lot of duplicity as they try to trick people into not finding where they buried the treasure. You could also use it here when you talk about a con artist. The con artist was very duplicitous when he told the woman that she had won $1,000,000 and then asked for her bank account number and password. So the con artist was being very tricky and dishonest. All right, so now it is time to write your own practice sentences. You have sentence frames on the screen. You're more than welcome to use them if you feel like you're unsure of how to use the word properly. Of course, remember, sentence frames are training wheels. If you feel like you can do it without the sentence frames, that should always be your goal. And of course, as always, as your challenge, always see if you can use some additional vocabulary words. For example, any of our previous vocabulary. If you can also include those in the sentence, that'll get you some bonus points.